fortunately, unfortunately, there are different schools of thoughts and how the things are evolving. But one very important factor which is driving the need globally towards the transdisciplinary education is the problem solving. And experts, practitioners, both they agree that students need to have some of the discipline knowledge, but according to the nature of the particular subject discipline, the nature of the problems the students are going to face in the future, they also need to have a wider perspective and understanding. And for that, they need to have transdisciplinary orientation. Global shift of transdisciplinary education, one of the major factor which I see is the focus on sustainability and sustainable solutions. Although for since earlier time also there was a need for transdisciplinary education, and some scholars in 90s they started coming up with UNESCO report, if you look, which says that learn to know, learn to act, learn to be. So all these are leading towards the need for transdisciplinary, but sustainability is the one which started after 2015. If you look into the sustainable development goals, if we are trying to solve the problem of zero hunger, at the same time it is rooted in innovation. At the same time, it affects healthcare. At the same time, it affects. So, if a student who is graduating in public health need to have a perspective from the other gender perspective also. So problems are interlinked. To have a solution, we feel, and many scholars they agree that transdisciplinary orientation is needed. So that's the reason that many leading universities across the world, sometimes they may give it a different name, sometimes they may call it transdisciplinary, sometimes they may call problem solving center or thinking center, whatever. But in spirit, most institutions which are innovative, proactive, they are adapting it and they are embedding it in their programs. This is, in fact, this relates to micro level issue and at the same time addressing the macro level issues. When you look at the higher education, any program, any discipline, higher education has mainly few functions: teaching, research, outreach, third dimension. Transdisciplinary can happen in terms of teaching, like you develop a new course which takes the inputs from the different module disciplines, and you develop an entirely new to the world module which was not there earlier. It could be that you give a transdisciplinary research project to your students where supervisors, experts from the different disciplines can collaborate, and then the student can go and work on. It could be some of the activities like taking them for community project outside, advocacy program, some campaigns, and which are also linked to the research, and you can engage students which are transdisciplinary in nature and they can go. So it can happen across, and there is no one prescriptive model like these are the 5 steps or these are the 7 steps. No, it has to be very much context specific. Only thing is that institutional planners, deans, leadership, they have to look into what is good in my context. And this is how the it can happen anywhere. It can happen in all areas. It can happen through research only. It can happen through, but some of the things that, for example, World Peace University Goa, which is one of the going to be, I see that a very innovative and leading institution in terms of promoting transdisciplinary orientation, which is in going to be in its DNA. We found that there is a effort that a student from the very beginning, some orientation is given to them so that they understand what transdisciplinary is. Then they move further through some 1 or 2 transdisciplinary modules, and then they apply their learning through transdisciplinary research project. So this is how one example I find that it is the one of the examples that could be. Yeah. One thing is like in designing, what I would say that which is core to any university institution, that every institution has graduate attributes, set of graduate attributes. We have program learning outcomes. Program learning outcomes goes to program level, but at institution level also, if we have an ambition to be transdisciplinary university or institution, we can have a set of specific attributes which we would like to be in our graduates, and some of these attributes could be translated in terms of program learning outcomes across the programs, irrespective of which discipline they are. For example, if I say the societal problem solving could be one of the learning outcome for an engineer, it could be for a manager, it could be for a sociologist, it could be for a psychologist. So it is up to the institution how we define it. But only thing is that inside the mechanism, the academic structure, there should be sufficient room to facilitate the process of transdisciplinary education. I have been part of even many of the international visioning workshops. I facilitated 4 so far at HEC Paris in Doha, and one was at University of Belgrade and 2 in Berlin. And I found that stakeholders are very excited. They are looking at when we present the concept that how we are going to, because in most of the institutions, there is a set culture, set pattern, and institutions are adopting something like, okay, we should also do this. But we are going to design our institution, we are designing our institution from its scratch. And there it's in foundation. So experts feel very excited about this, that there is a university coming up in India which is going to focus on transdisciplinary. Although I completely agree that transdisciplinary doesn't mean that all the modules transdisciplinary. There would be discipline focus, there would be discipline focused programs, there would be some multidisciplinary modules, there would be some interdisciplinary research, but at the same time there would be some elements, say some percentage, which will focus on student experience in transdisciplinary, which will prepare them better for the fast changing world, which is more and more going to be more complex in next few years. Because transdisciplinary education prepares us for the process, not for one indicator. Today I can learn few tools, few techniques. Tomorrow it may be obsolete. If I have depth in process, that I need to know that, okay, if this technique is not working, what new technique I can bring and innovate. So I am not driven by AI influence. I am at a position, and I am in position to analyze and critically assess where responsibly AI is good, where it is not good, and how I can address the issues without AI, how I can address the issue with AI. And for that, transdisciplinary prepares you.